Live from Hazard, Kentucky, this is Jammin John's Wrestling News. Here's your news for Friday, November 29th, 2019. Fox Sports Vice President Brad Zager spoke to BizJournals.com and discussed how CM Punk's debut on WWE Backstage was kept a secret. Brad Zager said, "Part of what we're doing with this show is shock. You heard that natural reaction from our control room not believing that this was really happening. We wanted to make this a surprise. We wanted to make this a moment. We had to buck the trend and not let it leak. It was the tightest circle of people to ever know about something that we've done." The episode of WWE Backstage that CM Punk was advertised on drew 180,000 viewers. This week's show without CM Punk fell 33% to 121,000 viewers. Vince McMahon was reportedly unhappy with the Survivor Series main event match between Becky Lynch, Bayley, and Shayna Baszler. Dave Meltzer of F4WOnline.com noted the following about McMahon being mad during the match by saying, "There was a story going around Vince was so mad he was telling the ref high spots for them to do as the match was going on, but those in the company have only said McMahon was mad, saying he had every right to be, but said he was not sending high spots to the referee while the match was going on." Meltzer added that the match had been heavily worked on and practiced. Also, Dave Meltzer of F4WOnline.com is reporting that Bray Wyatt is now the company's top merchandise seller. As previously noted, Wyatt is expected to remain Universal Champion leading up to WrestleMania. Twitter account at WrestleVotes had noted the following about Wyatt's merchandise during SummerSlam weekend by saying, "He had the largest selection of merchandise at the SummerSlam Superstore that I saw, multiple masks, multiple different shirts, and a buzzer puppet. Shows at the least that the marketing team is behind him." Big congratulations to Bray Wyatt for becoming the company's top merchandise seller. If there's anybody that deserves it, it's him. The website Forbes.com has a story about WWE possibly cutting talents in early 2020, with Brian Alvarez of F4WOnline.com being attributed as the source of the report. However, Alvarez has shot down the idea that he has reported any such thing. According to Brian Alvarez on Twitter, he tweeted, "I don't do this a lot, but I've seen this one everywhere for weeks. I never said anything approaching this." HealByNature.com is reporting that Elias is backstage for tonight's SmackDown in Birmingham, Alabama. Elias has been recovering from an ankle injury, but it's unknown if he'll be returning tonight or at a later date. The Steve Austin podcast with The Undertaker drew strong numbers on the WWE Network and actually had more viewers this week than the NXT TakeOver War Games pay-per-view. Here were the top 5 WWE Network shows for this week. Number 5, WWE Untold, Sting's Last Ride. Number 4, Survivor Series Kickoff Show. Number 3, NXT TakeOver War Games. Number 2, Broken Skull Sessions with The Undertaker. And the number 1 most viewed show on the WWE Network for this week, Survivor Series. Ryan Satin of ProWrestlingSheet.com addressed WWE not addressing some of the controversial news stories such as ACH quitting on WWE. Ryan Satin said, "I'm not the producer of the show, so I don't make those decisions. I'm very low on the totem pole in terms of what's going to be discussed. I don't think they want me there for opinions as they want me there to break news. When it comes to negative stories, I believe there will be times when I have to talk about negative things. It's just we're in week 2 and nothing super negative has happened for me to discuss. When it comes to the ACH situation, there is a lot of unknowns and I think they'd rather play it safe. It's a case-by-case basis, I think." Thanks to WrestlingInc.com for the quotes. And finally, here on Jammin John's Wrestling News, Chris Jericho appeared on Conan's podcast, and here are a few highlights from that interview. Chris Jericho said, "I watched Survivor Series and it was really good, but they had this promo with Daniel Bryan and The Miz, and it's like, for the sake of our children, our families, you have to stop the Fiend. Nobody talks like that. You know what I mean? You can still put the guy over big time, but not worry like, what, is he going to come to your house and break in your house and steal your kids? It's just not believable, and it's cartoonish in a bad way." Jericho continued on by saying, "If you had a guy like Roman Reigns in All Elite Wrestling, he would be so over. Roman is so legit. He's a really cool dude. He's a great guy, and he's super cool. He's like the guy you want to hang out with. And they never portray him like that on the show. They always give him these promos to read, and the real Roman Reigns never really shines through. Thanks to Sportskeeda.com for the quotes. That is your news for Friday, November 29th, 2019. Check back here on Monday for another great Jammin' John's Wrestling News Flash Briefing on Amazon Alexa devices, Spotify, YouTube, Stitcher, iTunes, and Player FM. Follow me on Twitter at John Caldwell, JONCOLWELL. Follow me on Instagram, The Jammin' John. If you'd like to sponsor Jammin' John's Wrestling News or your wrestling promotion, want to get your next big event out, you can email me, jzcaldwell@gmail.com. That's JZCOLWELL@gmail.com. Big shout out to Ryan Hurdle and Tony Nelson for subscribing to my Patreon. You too can subscribe to me by going to patreon.com/JamminJohn. I have free packages on there ranging from $3 to $7. Not a whole lot of money. I would greatly appreciate it if you decided to support me a little bit financially. Once again, that's patreon.com/JamminJohn. This is Jammin' John saying thanks, goodbye, and have a great weekend, everybody.